Good morning, everyone, and welcome. I'm Sergeant
Kevin Allen, and I have the privilege and sincere honor of serving as Master of Ceremonies for the Portland Police Memorial Ceremony 2025. Before we begin the ceremony, a few reminders of protocol. When you hear the call to present arms, uniformed personnel should render a salute. Non-uniformed personnel and members of the public should stand at attention, if possible, with your hand over your heart. At the call to order arms, please drop the salute and remain at attention. I would now invite you to stand, if you are able, for the presentation of the colors and remain standing through the national anthem sung by Gigi Wiggins and the Invocation by Chaplain Turney.
Color guard, advance the colors. Highland Guard, sound off. Honor guard, uniform personnel, on and good. Order! Oh!
Right, face. Forward, march.
Honor guard, uniform personnel, present, up. Order! Up! uniformed personnel, present up.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, who brought stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. All the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the Rockies' bright glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Order. On.
Good afternoon. This is the third time I've had the privilege of being here with you, and it's an honor and a privilege that I have difficult describing. Every time before I offer an invocation, I feel I must tell you that this is not part for me of a tradition or a ceremony. I sincerely mean the words I'm about to share with you, and in doing that, I stay true to my faith and my conscience. And in that light, I sincerely invite you to participate or not as your faith and your conscience might dictate to you. But if you would, join me in this moment of invocation. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to gather today to remember and respect our brothers and sisters who have laid down this great sacrifice in the service of their fellow citizens. I pray today will not only remind us, but bring comfort to the families, loved ones, friends, and colleagues of those who gave their lives in this most noble of callings, law enforcement. We ask for protection for those who are on duty at this moment and those who will soon be. Be with us today, and may we never forget. I ask these things in the most holy of names, my Lord. Amen.
Please take your seats. We are here today to honor the 30 Portland police officers and 2 Portland police canines who have made the ultimate sacrifice in service to the community. Thank you for taking time out of your day to spend it here at the Portland Police Memorial. This is the 32nd annual ceremony, and it means so much to all of us that you took the time and effort to attend. Our audience here today includes police officers, firefighters, and other public safety personnel, federal law enforcement officers, and elected officials. Family of fallen officers are also here,
and we want all of you to know that your loved one's legacy is not forgotten, and we continue to honor them. This year, we are adding the name of a fallen officer from 1917 to the wall. We are going to hear more about him and his sacrifice in just a few minutes. But first, Mayor Keith Wilson is here to read the Police Memorial Day Proclamation.
Good afternoon, Chief Day. Thank you for this opportunity. And to the families and the friends of those that have fallen, it is a deep honor that I'm able to share this moment with you. It's an honor to be here today to recognize the 30 fallen officers and 2 police canines whose names are on this wall. This week is a time to honor their service, remember their sacrifice, and reflect on their contribution to our city. This is also a time to acknowledge the dedicated men and women of the Portland Police Bureau and the importance of public safety in our community. We know that policing is complex work, especially in a city like ours. Where we value both accountability and compassion. I want to thank our officers for their commitment to these principles and the extraordinary work that they do. To the families and friends of our police personnel, thank you for the support you provide behind the scenes. It is valued and needed. I encourage all of us to continue working towards ensuring people feel safe and investing in our first responders. Let us move forward with a shared vision for a stronger and vibrant Portland. On a personal note, my personal and professional core values have always been quality, safety, and sustainability. It's that safety core value that I base all decisions that I move forward with. And one of the things that I will promise to our police department and all city employees is that my goal, my focus is to ensure that every one of you return home to your friends and family every day, because knowing that in that success, we can ensure that the same promise to every citizen of Portland, that they return home to their friends and family every day. And now I'd like to read a special proclamation for today. Whereas 30 Portland police officers have met violent and untimely deaths in the performance of their duties, and whereas their sacrifice has resulted in 27 wives becoming widows and 1 husband becoming a widower and 54 children growing up without their fathers or mother. And whereas a memorial has been dedicated to commemorate the deaths of those brave officers, now therefore, I, Keith Wilson, Mayor of the City of Portland of Oregon, the City of Roses, do hereby proclaim Tuesday, May 20th, 25, to be the Police Memorial Day in Portland, in recognition of Portland police officers who have given their lives in the line of duty. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Now I'd like to invite Sergeant Aaron Schmautz, President of the Portland Police Association, to the podium.
Good afternoon. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Aaron Schmautz. I'm the president of the Portland Police Association. It is an immeasurable honor to stand before the friends, family, brothers, sisters, and community through which the sacrifices remembered today bear so much weight. As I considered how to best honor our heroes, I could not help but consider my own connection to the names you will hear read today. For as long as I can remember, into my years as a child following my dad into Central Precinct, a large painting of a warm, smiling face always made me pause. It was not until I discontinued serving brats at our summer picnic and was met with significant disappointment from a retiree who happened to be Officer Dennis Darden's partner the day he gave his life in service to our community that I was able to learn much more about the man behind the picture and what a loss we experienced. Every year on the anniversary of Colleen Weibel's death, I am crushed by the memories of getting the phone call that my father's unit had been ambushed and that several of his friends had been shot, and that one had paid the ultimate sacrifice. I can see her picture in my mind without blinking, and I and so many officers think of her every day. I mentioned on this podium last year how spending the formative years of my career getting dressed 3 lockers down from Officer Thomas Jeffries' still closed locker made me realize how much police officers and their families must be able to shut away their own needs, dreams, and love for each other in service of and in the hope for a better future for our country. I was interviewing then Chief Croker regarding an article from my college newspaper in 2002 about the impact of the horrific terrorist attacks of 9/11 on law enforcement when I heard the news that Officer Kirk Huffstetler had tragically died rushing to the scene to help our community. I was in the police corps program at the time, and the loss of Officer Huffstetler left an indelible mark on so many that I would serve with. It is through these circumstances that I've always known that remembering and honoring these heroes is cellular. It is the connective tissue of our profession and honors the sacrifice our family members make when they allow us to turn our backs to the sun and walk into tempestuous and into a tempestuous and complicated world to serve. All those who wear a uniform and their families are bound. We are knit together as one family of those who step into the storm and chaos willingly. This year, we add a new Portland Police Bureau hero and a family to this hallowed memorial, the Memorial Wall in Salem, and to our National Memorial in Washington, D.C. And we must also recognize the need to never stop looking. When found, we must recognize who they were and what legacy they leave. Andrew James Laugeson was born in Hutchinson, Minnesota on 8/6/1870 to a family of Danish immigrants. He found his way to Portland by way of Spokane and held jobs in the circus, as a painter, with a creamery, and was an avid hunter, taxidermist, writer, and musician. He was described as holding a splendid record within the Portland Police Bureau of efficiency and bravery. On May 10th, 1917, it was a beautiful, sunny, 65-degree day. Patrolman Andrew James Laugeson left his home and his wife, Anna Marie Nielsen, and his 8 children, Earl, Cyrus, Esther, Lavina, Alice, Evelyn, Lois, and Louise, and went out to serve his community. He was working his beat on first nights at approximately 1,800 hours when he attempted to board a streetcar on Mississippi Avenue, as he had many times. Tragically, the streetcar lurched from his grasp and he fell and hit his head on a curb. He would not regain consciousness and died soon after from the injuries suffered in the line of duty. Patrolman Laugeson was preceded in death by his beloved first wife, Karen Mae Peterson, and his daughter, Alma Laugeson, who died in infancy. His loss had a lasting impact on his family, many of whom are here today. His memory was noted in an article in April of 1926, and then, while it faded from the public eye, it was carried in the hearts and minds of his ancestors. His legacy of service continued with his great-grandson, Mike Gates, who served as a Multnomah County Sheriff's Deputy for 26 years. I eulogize Patrolman Laugeson today publicly in Portland for the first time in 100 years, yet his family has done so for generations. When you live a life of service, your memory is never lost. Your impact is secured. Police officers often toil in anonymity to many, but serve a critical lifeline to all. Some attempt to minimize or castigate the few brave enough to risk their lives in service of strangers. Yet there are over 24,000 forever immortalized names on the wall in our nation's capital, and nearly every city in our country ensures space to remember and sets aside an entire week each year. The permanence of these memorials serves to remind us all that the impact of the loss, as well as the enduring mark our heroes left behind. The names on this wall, including our newest memorial entry of Andrew James Laugeson, paid the ultimate sacrifice to make a better world possible. It is our responsibility in return to remember their names, to honor their families, to speak their name often. Their sacrifice calls to us, and we must promise that no matter how long it takes, we will never stop looking and we will never forget.
Thank you, Aaron. And now please welcome Portland Police Chief Bob Day.
Well, good afternoon. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for your remarks. Your core value of safety has been demonstrated numerous times to me in our short working time together. I appreciate you doing that and doing it in a public way. Thanks, Aaron, for your comments as well. I want to thank all of our elected officials. I know we have several here, and appreciate council representation and others. I want to thank our colleagues and leaders from other public safety sectors, and certainly from our law enforcement community, and then significantly our families and friends and Portlanders that are here today. You know, interestingly enough, consistently, and including this year, surveys have shown that police work rarely makes the top 10 of the most dangerous jobs in America. In fact, jobs such as forestry, logging, fishing, even warehouse work has a higher death rate per capita per thousand than law enforcement. Which begs the question, why in 1962 would John F. Kennedy sign a proclamation designating Police Week? Why would we have memorials such as we have here today? If it's not as risky as some of these other jobs and these other careers, what is that about? And I've thought about this often, and the obvious statement, the obvious question, response is that it's not the fact that these men and women died, but it's how they lived. And I believe that. I believe that very much. But that hasn't really satisfied me as I've stepped into this role as chief. Because officers do, in fact, put themselves in harm's way every day. Run to the gunfire. Take the bold steps that are necessary to protect others, including themselves. But frankly, much of what happens throughout the course of the day doesn't necessarily involve that, but still has tremendous risk and still has tremendous cost. And so I began to dig a little deeper. What is it? What is it about the fact that we honor these men and women in this manner? And how is it that they lived beyond just their bravery that is oftentimes recognized in violent acts? And it occurred to me really on Friday afternoon after a rather long week, and a long week in the chief's office certainly doesn't bring any physical harm, but it does place some stress and challenges for me. And I looked at my watch and I saw it was close to 3 o'clock, and I could go down to Central Precinct and I could catch roll call. I just wanted to see some police officers. I just wanted to look them in the eye and tell them thank you. And I walked into that roll call on Wednesday afternoon. Unfortunately, there was only 10 of them. Should have been 18, but we had 10. 10 hearty young souls that were looking at me as their boss. I'm sure the words I shared with them will stick with them forever. I'm sure it made a huge impact. But the reality is, I just wanted to spend some time with them because I wanted to look them in the eye and remember that we're sending them out there to apply the law in some of the most critical situations without a law degree. We're sending them out there to mitigate domestic and marital challenges and violence, but they're not therapists. We're sending them out there to step into mental health challenges and situations that would be complex even for the best psychologists or psychiatrists, yet they're not certified in those. We're asking them every day to go out and do really the impossible. In fact, as they were noticing the vacancies on the roster, there was a comment made, well, Chief, would you like to go fill a district tonight? And despite the obvious fact that I'd probably be the first workman's comp claim out of the gate the minute I tried to step out of a police car and twist my ankle on a curb, it occurred to me too that I don't know that I could take on that responsibility, the very responsibility that I'm asking them to do in just moments after I leave that room. You see, it's not just the acts of bravery that we are remembering. It's not just the acts of running towards the gunfire that build these walls. It really is how they live. It really is how they live day in and day out. And I looked up the term memorial, looked up the history of what a memorial. We build memorials to remember. We build memorials to remember. And this time today is sacred, it's important, it's critical that we honor and that we remember. I'm so grateful that we're adding Officer Laugeson here and in Salem and on the National Wall, as Aaron had said. But memorial comes from the Latin term memoria, or memory. And as I reflected on today, and what I want is I want to live I want to live as they lived. That's how I want to remember. That's how I want my memorial to be. To live as they lived, not as how they died, but how they lived. And how those officers are doing it every day, right here in the city of Portland and across this great country. I would encourage you to do the same. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief. And now I'd like to introduce Assistant Chief Amanda McMillan to share with us more about the Police Historical Society.
Good afternoon. I'm honored to be here today to represent the Portland Police Historical Society. As Sergeant Aaron Schmautz said just a few moments ago, today is a special day to honor our fallen officers, but also to this year honor Patrolman Andrew Laugeson, who's being formally recognized. Today I also want to acknowledge the hard work and commitment of the Portland Police Historical Society members, PPB retired criminalist John Courtney, and community member Juanita Kitterman, both sit on the board for the Historical Society. They've worked for years tirelessly to ensure that PPB members who gave their lives in the line of duty are properly recognized. Andrew's name was discovered when John Courtney was researching historical news articles about fallen patrol officers in Portland. He found that Andrew was one of 9 fallen officers recognized in the 1920s, but that his name had not been included in any memorial. Through their exhaustive research efforts, they were able to verify and document the way that he had passed away and submit those documents to the state, national, and local memorials for recognition. Their dedication to this effort is what has brought you all, Laugeson family, here today, and is very commendable, and it's just a piece of what we do with the Historical Society. Today, over a century later, Patrolman Andrew Laugeson's name is finally etched into this memorial wall, a powerful reminder that sacrifice never fades with time. It's never our wish to add a new name to this memorial wall, but Andrew's name rightfully belongs here. This is also a reminder that no matter how many years pass, we will not forget those who gave everything in the name of public service and safety. It's my honor to be a member of both the Portland Police Honor Guard as well as the Portland Police Historical Society, both of which are committed to honoring the legacy of every fallen officer. Thank you all for being here today. Really, it means a lot to us at the Historical Society, at the Police Bureau, and the city. Thank you.
Portland Police Honor Guard officers will now read the names of our fallen officers. Officer Heather Martley and Officer Jason Hubert.
Thomas G. O'Connor,
Charles F. Chopa,
Samuel S. Young,
Albert W. Moe,
James R. White,
Ralph H. Stahl,
James C. Gill,
John J. McCarthy,
Andrew J. Laugeson,
Glenn L. Litzenberg,
Jerome Palmer,
James D. Wright,
Robert E. Drake,
Charles M. White,
Philip R. Johnson,
Charles E. Vincent,
James A. Hines,
Gilbert H. Horton,
Roy E. Meisner,
Vernon J. Stroder,
Roger L. Davies,
Robert P. Murray,
Robert R. Farron Jr.,
Stephen M. Owens,
Dennis A. Darden,
David W. Crowther,
Stanley D. Pounds,
K9 Argos,
Thomas L. Jeffries,
Colleen A. Weibel,
Kirk R. Huffstetler.
K9 Mick.
Right, please. Forward march.
And now I'd like to ask you to please stand and turn toward the Willamette River for a 21-gun salute by the Honor Guard and a water display from Portland Fire and Rescue.
concludes the formal ceremony.